Likely what we're going to see a lot of in this season's plot was set up in Series 7, possibly even Series 6.
Brilliant.
Usually these actual plot points occur in episodes that he's scripted. The opening feature-length episode, 3 episodes in the middle, and the closing 2-parter.
No.
There's been a very heavy lean in for perception to cause reality. But that's very likely to continue on in either returning monsters or new monsters with similar patterns.
Fantastic!
Michelle Gomez as Missy, pretty much confirmed as a very least someone prominent in the finale.
Spoilers.
Search for Gallifrey. My assumption is it's going to be picked up in the Christmas special. If it's picked up before that, they're keeping it very well under wraps. And it's probably not going to be a huge influence of the plot.
Yeah, it's cool.
When the Master comes back, we will be seeing a new Master, because John Sims is kind of a 10th Doctor era Master.
This is impressive.
It also, by a lot of the cloaks and things we've heard, is that we are going to see a more abrasive Doctor than we've seen before.
Right.
My concern is that it's going to turn out to be a bit 6th Doctor.
I should give you a raise.
And the greatest smeg up of the night.
None of which, I would say, based on anything we've seen, is likely to be true, which is the Master, who's rumored to appear in the finale. I think this would have been leaked by now.
Please try to keep up.
Special edition of Unearthly podcast, live from Geek.Kon 2015, our 2nd annual live recording.
Woo.
I am Randy Ronson McCulloch, and with me is Mad Matt Winchell.
Hello.
Aaron Romeo Moenberg.
Hello.
Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
Hi there.
Also making his first appearance here at Geek.Kon.
Hi.
And Eric Craig actually making his first appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, about bloody time.
He's
our resident 5th Doctor.
Bill Silvio is not
Second, I think.
To the podcast. Instead, we have an incredibly lifelike virtual simulation. Say hello, Bill.
Hello.
Yes, as you saw in the opening, I would say we hit slightly above 500 average in our predictions last year. Not too far above, but we got more right than we got wrong. Let's hope we can do as good or better this year.
Woo.
This year we're having a little problem because we expected to be doing our review for the first episode of Series 9 when we first scheduled this. Unfortunately, about a month ago we discovered that was not going to happen as our opening date was set for September 19th. So instead we're going to look here and give our outlook on Series 9, what we know, what we don't know, and give the ability to answer some questions. I've actually spent most of the evening preparing a small presentation on what we know, what we don't know. Feel free to input anything you desire as we mention this. So, anything you want to say before we start that, Bill?
This year, I think Missy is the Master.
Yeah, okay. We will officially eat some crow for this. I think probably somewhere around 2020. I'll be doing one of these conventions and you're the ones that didn't think Missy would be the Master. Yeah, okay.
I thought she would be the
Mea
Master.
Mea culpa.
I knew she had to be something
we decided that
high-bordish.
we weren't going to buy into the hype, and we got caught with our pants down on it.
More like we didn't want it to happen, and then it happened. The stakes were made, the dolly broke, that's all we know.
Well, hey, I liked Missy as the Master. It was actually, those were my 2 favorite episodes of last series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say before we start the little presentation? Bill helped me put together the presentation, by the way, since I lost about 5 hours of putting it together today, as I got called into some emergency duty elsewhere in the convention. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Just
Other than it got fixed.
other than that, the problem got
Yeah.
resolved. It just took more time than it should have by any means.
All I'm going to say is that the correct answer is 4. That's how many IT tech it takes to repair Artemis.
The thing is, it doesn't mention it takes 4 techs 5 hours.
No. No. It's still... Dear God, that was annoying.
Okay, but that's neither here nor there. So anybody want to say anything, any thoughts they have about Doctor Who in general before? How about you?
I haven't watched any of season 8 yet.
Oh,
No.
you're holding back?
We're spoilering you already.
I don't care about spoilers. I want all of the knowledge.
Alright.
Just look forward to that season finale. It'll be worth it.
Generally, we feel anything over 6 months old is considered fair game, so...
It's been almost a year, so...
And if you deliberately click on a podcast where we're reviewing something that's out in less than 6 months, you deserve any spoilers you get. Alright, so I'm going to start this little presentation that Bill and I put together. Wave goodbye, Bill, because we won't be seeing you for a little bit. We'll still hear you.
Back to Bill's physical form.
Oh, come on. There we go. Unearthly Podcast, Series 9, What We Know Up to Now. We're a little lucky this year because generally Stephen Moffat likes to hold his cards close to his chest. He doesn't reveal much. However, we got a bit lucky this year because he began speaking to magazines with some basic outlines on some of the episodes. He also gave some flowery descriptions of some of them. I've cut that stuff out because it really doesn't tell you what the episode's about. It just says, this is a beautiful episode, you'll love it, wow. Isn't that what every television producer says about their shows?
No, it's crap. Don't watch it.
Okay, so, first thing, Series 9 in general. It's going to consist of 12 episodes running weekly between September 19th and December 5th. This is provided there is no break at all within there, and they've stated that they don't want there to be. There's always the possibility of something big occurring and an episode getting delayed, but probably not. I find this personally interesting because Doctor Who has regularly consisted of 13 episodes. Last year it had a 12-episode run, but episode 1 was a double-length episode, making a 13 equivalent episode run. We've had no indications that there's a double-length episode anywhere this season.
Because Moffat's busy on the Sherlock Christmas special. That's episode 13.
Damn it, Moffat!
Sherlock meets the Doctor.
Don't. He's listening to the fans. Unsure if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
I'm pretty sure it's a bad thing.
I mean, that's assuming he finishes the Christmas special this year. I think it was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
I was just going to say, whenever Stephen Moffat tries to concentrate on 2 series at the same time, there's a remarkable dip in quality. 2013, I believe, was the last time he was working on anything Sherlock related, while trying to do Season 7A, or no, excuse me, Season 7B, prior to the 50th anniversary special, and that produced some of the worst episodes in recent times, which I had the misfortune of watching this evening while putting this PowerPoint together on WHA.
Yeah, I was hearing that.
Sorry.
I'm up there. Our staff lounge area had the TV going, and somebody turned on WHA, and I look up and I see Clara bouncing around the TARDIS, and I'm going, not this episode! Not this episode! I'm like, oh god, it's Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, the episode that shall not be named.
Too late, you named it.
Yeah. Although to be fair, that's one of the rare times I've ever seen an episode retroactively be good-ish.
And that it made itself go away?
Get better.
You might not have to worry about being Reg tomorrow. I may kill you by the end of this.
No. I mean, retroactively isn't because they at least mentioned it in the final episode. on its own, it's a complete monstrosity that I want to strangle someone with.
For those of you that don't know, during the Descent of the TARDIS, on our ranking system, we rank all episodes of Doctor Who that we review from 1 to 5, or from 0 to 5 stars, giving only full and half points as we rate them. During the Descent of the TARDIS is thus far the only episode to rate less than 1 star.
Oh god.
You gave it a 1.
You gave it a 1 when we doused it even further.
I think most of us gave it a 1, and I gave it a half. Because I thought the only thing good in that episode was the TARDIS library set. And
I'm pretty sure I gave it either a half or a 0.
There was no zeros.
So I must have given it a half.
You'll have to look at your rankings and look at it.
There's no way I gave that thing a 1.
And during the review, I was arguing that 1 was the lowest, although eventually that got beaten out and the score is lowered. But
in which case, I might have to retroactively, since you didn't let me have my 0.
After the convention. So the other part about Series 9 we know is that most of it's going to be 2-part episodes, except Eps 5, 6, 9, and 10. This does not mean that these episodes are not going to be related to each other, but they're going to be their own stories.
yeah, 5 and 6 are going to be closely related, but they will not be an official 2-parter.
I would not be surprised if 9 and 10 had a little bit to do with each other, but that could also be not true. That's just a guess on my part. I'm looking, they're sharing directors. We know, in particular, Maisie Williams is going to have a big, at least 2 episodes that she's in there. You'll know her as Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Arya, thank you. I misspelled that.
Oh.
And Bill missed it when he edited my...
I was too busy catching your misspelling Maisie on 3 different slides.
I'm trying to do this in 3 hours. Give me a break, Bill.
It burns. It burns to Randy.
What we've also learned within the last few days is that the RTD era enemies, the Jadoon and the Hat, are going to be appearing somewhere in Series 9. We do not know where. I have some guesses, but nothing that I can substantiate that yet.
Right.
Now, I remember the Jadoon are the rhinoceros guy.
Yeah.
The Hat, though, refresh my memory.
The Hats are kind of fish-looking. They were from
the
Doctor's Daughter.
Oh,
the
right.
humans were with the Hat.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
I pushed that one into I pushed that one out of my memory.
Yeah, I actually recognized it the second I saw the name, but it's like, oh yeah, I remember that.
I had to Google the word Hats.
Yeah, I just...
the Hats went into that Doctor Who database I have in my head.
I was just... all I remember that was being annoyed that the Doctor's Daughter had nothing to do with Susan.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't go another direction, so...
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about episodes 1 and 2. The title of them are going to be The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar. They are a 2-parter. Enemies are going to be Missy, and I put a question mark at that because we don't know that Missy's actually functioning as an enemy in this. And the Daleks. A lot of Daleks. A lot of Daleks. From Moffat, this is a direct quote. It features lots of Daleks, and this time we mean it. Clara receives a mysterious summons and has to team up with Missy to search for the Doctor in a very, very odd place. He's also quoted later on as saying it's very Star Wars-y. Things that we've seen in the trailer... I was actually going to show the trailer. I'll show it after the presentation. Things that we've seen is a Dalek city. We assume it's a Dalek city. It is an alien city that's inhabited by a Dalek, so at least it's a Dalek city in that place, because we see the special weapons Dalek in a particular scene. We have no idea if the special weapons Dalek is going to move or do anything else, but it is seen. The Supreme Dalek, which was last seen in Journey's End as being the one lording over Davros in it, you can actually see it in the image there, kind of under the episode 1 and 2. You can just see the head of it. We have taken a good look. It is confirmed as being the Supreme Dalek from those episodes. classic Daleks. If you take a look at some of these pictures, you'll see that there's some classic white and blue bumped Daleks in there that are stylized after around the Chase era, the Middle Hartnell era Daleks.
Well, hopefully when they say it's based on Star Wars, it's not based on Episode 1.
Oh yeah, if it's based on Episode 1, well, okay. I wouldn't put it past
I don't think.
Mind you, if that happens, Aaron, we're cursing you for it.
Pots on you.
I don't think the Marriott has enough tables to flip.
Okay. So also the writer and director for this is Stephen Moffat and Paul Wiltshire. Director's fine. Stephen Moffat, if he's taking the time, probably this is going to be a 2-episode set. Anything he writes after this, I'm not going to put money on it.
What I'm really curious about is, I want to know how Missy survived being shot by her own weapon.
We'll find out.
I've had a theory about that. I have stated a theory. Now, I've watched that episode. When we did the podcast review for those episodes last year. I watched that episode back and forth 2-3 times. In particular, those scenes. The special effect uses when Missy is quote hit by that weapon was a different special effect than when that weapon was used any previous time, and looked closer to her teleport effect.
Oh, that's...
Secondly, even if it did hit her, where would she have been sent? Being dead, she would have been sent back into that other world, the one that she called that, and there's nothing that said she didn't have a backstory.
True. And I mean, my thing is that if she, I'm fingers crossing if she survives, that means the unit science. They're hoping the
unit scientist girl, yeah.
I really liked her. I really wanted her.
We have a theory about that.
Keep your mouth shut, because we'll have some more to say later.
I know.
All right.
Yeah, her name's Osgood.
Osgood.
Episode 3 and 4. Title at this point is not known. Moffat has only released some of the titles, not all of the titles. The fact that he hasn't released them in linear order is kind of interesting. The writer-director is Toby Whithouse, who has done Doctor Who before. As the writer, Daniel O'Hara is the director. The enemies are ghosts with a question mark. We don't know for sure if they're actually ghosts. The reason we say so is a quote from Moffat. It features an underwater base plagued by creeping ghosts and an island that's about to be submerged by water. But who or what is doing this, and how can the Doctor stop it? It's very scary, atmospheric, and claustrophobic, much like some other classic episodes. I'd like to take a moment here and state that when Moffat states that it's going to be like a classic episode,
it's usually not even close.
Well, if it's about an island that's about to be submerged and it's like classic episodes, it might just mean that it's Atlantis Reason 4.
Let's hope not, because that's already in the Doctor Who Hall of Shame.
Atlantis again.
God damn it, Doctor! Stop with the Atlantis.
He also mentioned, and I forgot to add this. Oh wait, you actually put it in, Bill. Never mind.
Oh.
You know, if you allow both time travel and ghosts in the same universe, you can meet your own ghost. Yeah, I'm a little eyebrow raisy on that.
The reactions from some of our listeners live here is bemusing.
Things we've seen from this episode, the only thing that we can distinctly say we've seen in this episode are shots of dark, spooky corridors. That's pretty much it.
I think a fair amount of the more ethereal-looking aliens in the trailers are intended to be this episode.
Maybe,
but we don't really know anything about them other than that they look a little creepy.
But we really can't be absolutely certain it's from these episodes. Well, this is also possibly where we might be seeing the half.
That was my theory as well.
Yeah, that was what I was speculating when I saw this, is that it's going to find out that the half is behind it all. But that's guesswork. There's no backup on that.
And if we have to say you're right, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
Why?
Because again, all these I've been seeing a lot of these episodes where it's like interesting premise and whatnot, and then it just turns out to be
It doesn't mean that the hat are the ghosts. It could be that the hat is behind why the island's sinking into the sea.
True.
Let's hope it's not Atlantis again.
Yeah.
Episode 5, we have the title for. It's The Girl Who Died. The writer is Jamie Matheson with Stephen Moffat.
Oh, God.
And Ed Bazalgette is doing the directing. Enemies are Vikings. We think it's the Vikings that are the bad guy. Mercenary robots and a dragon. And this basically comes from the quote before. Features Vikings fighting mercenary robots and a dragon. So the Vikings may not be the bad guy in this. They may not be the good guy. We don't know yet.
Also apparently featuring a guest appearance from Cyber Odin.
Nope. Not yet.
Oh, not that one? Okay,
No.
it's a later one.
The
Never mind.
guest star in this is Maisie Williams. We do not know what role she's playing. We know that she's involved and somehow involved twice. It is not actually a Game of Thrones crossover, no matter how close it seems.
Nope.
I don't know if I can actually, once this episode airs, if I'm actually going to be able to watch it all without humming the Game of Thrones theme over and over again.
I'm sure it'll be on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Well, if not, I'll have to commission Matt. Okay, so episode 6 is The Woman Who Lived. Writer is Catherine Tagana, and Ed Bazalgette is doing the directing. Enemies, Odin, we think, is the bad guy. A group of highwaymen dealing with the Norse god. Guest stars again, Maisie Williams, and we don't know how she goes from A to B. Also of note, I had thought that what we were seeing here next to Odin would have been the mercenary robots from the previous episode. I'm kind of wondering if we have a Space War, Planet of the Daleks thing going on here, where they're separate storylines, but they segue from one right to the other.
Okay.
Nope, it's actually a Marvel crossover.
You would think so, but that Odin in particular is like Cyber Odin.
Yeah.
Shared universe theory. This is proof that Game of Thrones and the Avengers are set in the same universe.
No, see,
Bill, you're not here. I cannot kick you in the dick.
and see, here's the thing. I was listening to some of the audio dramas with Sutek, and as listening to him, I'm thinking, it would actually be really interesting if somehow Shield shows up, and I'm like, oh god, there could totally be a Doctor Who Shield crossover or something.
Well, on an interesting side tangent, back in the late 80s, early 90s, Marvel Comics actually owned the rights to do Doctor Who comics.
Yeah.
And there were frequent Doctor Who references in many of Marvel's side comics.
Yep.
Excalibur in particular was fond of making Doctor Who references, being inked and penned usually by British writers and artists.
Yeah, I think there was actually a villain called Death something. There's so many villains with death in their name.
There was an organization that existed within the Marvel Universe, run in England, called the Weird Happenings Organization, or WHO.
Nice. Although I have, after that I started thinking, boy, wouldn't it be cool if Unit met Shield? The shenanigans that would happen.
Okay, so what we know about this, like I said, Maisie Williams, Odin. He's kind of a cyber Odin, because you can see a glowing red eye in the trailer I'll show shortly. And he has kind of a physical side mask that looks kind of like a cyber mask.
If you're looking for the Promised Land, Odin, you're a little late.
That's a season good, dude.
Okay, episode 7 and 8. Title is Invasion of the Zygons and Inversion of the Zygons. That's going to cause a lot of confusion.
If you can say them both 5 times quickly, you get a cookie. But I'm not there to give you a cookie.
Invasion, inversion, invasion,
Potato,
inversion.
potato. Let's call the whole thing off. Okay, so writer is Peter Harness with Stephen Moffat. And the director is Daniel Nettles.
Every time we say with Stephen Moffat, it's just like, I added some forced lines of dialogue. Oh.
The enemies should be pretty self-evident. It's the Zygons. Da-da-da-da. Finally,
An invasion of the Zygons features the Zygons?
Shocking.
No, it's actually going to be the Daleks, so the Zygons are going to appear in episode 1 and 2.
I thought it was the Osirans.
So, according to Moffat, the Zygons make peace with the humans, but not every Zygon decided it's okay, so they've raised an army silently, and now they're rising against UNIT. Moffat needs to worry about his run-on sentences. Things seem Ingrid Oliver as Osgood is in this two-parter. We do not know if it's Ingrid Oliver or Zygon Ingrid Oliver, or if it really makes a difference anymore.
I don't think the actress was replaced by the Zygon. I think it was just Osgood.
Now I see what you were talking about.
Yeah.
With my rant. Okay.
We have actually seen the actress on the set filming. We know she's in these episodes. We just don't know how she's attached and if she's playing her original worker Zygon self. Interesting enough, Big Finish Audio is now doing unit audios that are coming out soon, and they also have Osgood in them. So they might have had to write her back in somehow so that she could go on to do Big Finish.
Or maybe the character was so popular, Moffat's like, oh.
The character was already popular before Moffat, pulled the dropped the axe. Yeah.
That was the whole. Yeah, that was the whole point, that he killed her because she was popular.
And that's not how you do things.
Well,
try saying that to Joss Whedon. I'm a leaf in the wind. Watch as I hold.
I believe the quote was the Missy had to do something terrible and unforgivable by the fans, so she had to kill a popular character.
Yeah. Yeah, but at least wait until you actually have that popular character in more than 2 episodes.
All right.
She can kill Strax. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that
too. Yeah, I'm pretty much. I'm ready to give up Strax as pretty much one-dimensional joking at this point. Yeah. I'm hoping Big Finish will add some more dimension to Strax.
Well, it already sounds like they are.
So, moving on, episode 9. Again, we do not know the title. The writer-director, Mark Gaddis is writing, so... And Justin Molotnikov is directing. It's listed as being the scariest episode of Doctor Who we've seen in a long time. The style they're using is found footage. If you're not familiar with that, think of the Blair Witch Project.
Didn't they also say that Listen was the scariest episode of Doctor Who in a while?
Yeah, let's not talk about Listen, Bill.
Listen can go listen to itself in an echo chamber.
At this point,
Dropped into the
Moffat
void.
stopped saying actual descriptions and only really starts making general, this is a good episode, or this was an unbelievably good idea. I'm starting to think episode 9 was the very last filming block film. So they did 10, 11, 12, and then went back and did 9.
What are the odds that this is going to be a Dr. Light episode?
I don't know. I mean,
I'd say fairly high. Episode 10 is normally about where it's placed.
Yeah.
It's possible. We haven't heard that for certain. But the last time they've done anything even remotely approaching a found footage episode is Love and Monsters, which was
no.
But the most of what Love and Monsters has to blame is mostly because of the particular monster they were forced to use due to it being a Blue Peter contest.
And I will forgive it for that, and also the fact that they were smart enough to use ELO to keep me listening.
That's your addiction, Matt, not the rest of us.
I like you.
Yeah.
Did they really have to imply that he gets blowjobs from a concrete block?
That's terrible.
Oh, and the jokes that came with that.
That was RTD trying to add a touch of lightness to it, and it just kind of...
Just fell flat and awkward. Very, very awkward.
Yeah.
But does that level of awkwardness beat Name of the Doctor's fact that if you look at how that one's done, a good third to 2/3 of the episode, Matt Smith, the Doctor, is supposed to technically be naked with holographic clothes for like. I know that squicked the heck out of Bill.
Not name. You're referring to time.
Time.
of the Doctor.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I get time and name confused, especially at 1:30 in the morning when I've been active all day.
Before we move on, I'm just curious. The directors, what other episodes did they direct?
Hey, Bill, you're not on a screen that's actually being shown.
Yeah.
You want to field that question, please?
Yep. Justin Molodnikov is. He looks like he's done a fair amount of Merlin. This is his only Doctor Who credit so far.
Yeah.
He's done Atlantis, which is a show I'm not familiar with.
It started, I think, last year, was it? Atlantis?
Okay.
I think it came out around the same time that Series 8 started.
Looks like last year.
Yeah.
It's kind of Game of Thrones set in ancient Greece.
With less nudity and sex, considering it's a...
BBC America?
Yeah.
He did one episode of Da Vinci's Demons. I'm not showing anything that really stands out as memorable to me, or that I would know about.
I was more curious about Gatiss, because since it sounded like you were not.
Mark Gatiss is basically Moffat's.
Oh.
We consider him that he's what Moffat wants to be his protege.
Oh.
Mark Gatiss plays Moriarty, or not Moriarty.
Mark Gatiss has written about half of the pseudo-historicals in New Who.
Oh.
Generally the middle-of-the-line ones.
He's done, his first one was The Unquiet Dead, way back in Series 1.
That's the one with
The gas people. The gas people.
The one with ghosts, yeah.
He was also The Idiot's Lantern, I believe.
Yep.
Was it alright?
Did he have any writing credits after that, before,
The next one was Victory of the Daleks.
So yeah, he pretty much from there went right under. He stopped for a couple seasons and started under Moffat.
I thought he did the Red Horror or whatever. Or?
That's later on after that. Yeah. He also did the Crimson Horror in season 7, which I also.
Crimson Horror and Cold War were his Series 7 credits.
Yeah. So he's had one or two nice ones, but he's done a lot of mediocre work, especially under Moffat.
Did we mention Robots of Sherwood? He wrote Robots of Sherwood, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Which is I think I was actually here. I was actually on here when you were reviewing that, and I remember saying something to the effect of if they took out the robots, it would have been a better episode.
Yes.
It's notable that Gatiss. Nobody knows exactly how the Sherlock team works, but Gatiss is usually given top billing over Moffat in Sherlock. So it's kind of wondered if he may be actually the lead writer for that. It does seem that he's a little better. If you take away some of the sci-fi aspects, he's a little more focused of a writer.
And he also did the Adventures in Space and Time drama, docudrama.
I do need to see that eventually.
It's really good.
Yeah.
If you ever want to borrow it, the Con owns a copy of that.
I have seen 5-ish Dosters. That's awesome.
That was David's doing.
I made a movie, you know. I actually based my voicemail off of the voicemail that Tom Baker gave. I actually got a compliment on that earlier this week.
Okay, so
What was that?
What is that?
It was a chirp.
Don't beep. Beep is bad.
What does beep mean? Bill, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know what that
I was wondering if the beep was on my end or on yours, honestly.
I don't know. It went through the speakers, so I don't know.
I think most likely his end.
So, other than found footage, we do not know much because, like I said, he starts getting really vague around this point when he's script. There's chirp again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if one of the
outside.
Oh, it might be outside. The other rumor is that they may not have the Doctor Who title sequence with this particular episode. This is not substantiated, but it is circulating around. I think Moffat said they might be considering it. If so, that's going to add a little level of controversy.
how will we know what show we're watching without a title sequence?
Yeah, I think that's a bad concept. And then episode 10 is also title unknown. The writer is Sarah Dollard, and Justin Maletnikov is directing again, so they're giving him 2 to direct. It's called The Missing Streets, seems to be the key portion of the plot. And the guest star for this is Joyvan Wade as Rigsy, originally from Flatline in Series 8. So, there's a thought that Rigsy may become Capaldi's Craig, so to speak, the guy that he keeps returning to on and off. You remember the line?
Okay, that's coming from somewhere on your...
Okay, well, yeah, like I said, it's my smoke detector, but I'm honestly not sure what I can do about it while we're still streaming.
Yeah.
So I'll have to deal with it after we're
Well,
done.
at least we know what it is now.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like your battery's running down.
Yeah.
So now that we know what it is, ignore it, please.
As best
right.
you can.
Episodes 11 and 12, Moffat is being the most tight-lipped about these at all, being the finale. Writer, of course, being Stephen Moffat. The director is Rachel Lele. It has been said that Peter Capaldi will be the only actor in episode 11.
The Doctor monologues?
Now, there is a theory that Ren and I were discussing that it may be dealing with a lot of, a lot of archive footage, particularly since this season is supposed to address his appearance in Day of the Doctor.
Yes. That is also something Moffat has said, is that Day of the Doctor will be referenced at some point in the series, explaining how he got involved in that entire, multi-doctor pileup at the end. How we first saw the attack eyebrows, as it was. But he did not say which episode that would be. We're thinking there might be some archival footage involved in dealing with all this together, having him go back and deal with the situation from his angle.
Clip show, then.
Kind of. I don't think we've ever kind of had a clip show.
No.
Not particularly.
Oh gosh.
Don't.
Yeah, please don't start having clip shows in Doctor Who. It's short enough as it is. We've only got 12
we've had very short clip shows, mainly at the end of Regeneration episodes.
Yeah.
We have not had anything close to full episode ones.
Yeah.
It's a montage. It's not a clip episode.
Clip episodes were like, hey, remember when this thing happened? Oh, that thing happened. Hey, remember when this other thing happened? That other thing happened.
So we don't know much else on that. Moffat's keeping it really close to the chest. Other than he said, when it's done, we will be kind of asking how the Doctor, when 11 and 12 is done, we'll be asking how they managed to pull it off. That's all he said and all he's going to tell us until we get there.
Hopefully it doesn't pull it off the way he usually does it by fudging a bunch of his writing and stuff.
And creating plot holes the size of a semi-truck.
Just ignore everything. This is how things are now.
Okay, other information. The Doctor will address where he first recognized his own face from. A.K.A. The character that Capaldi played in Fires of Pompeii back in Series 4. He played the father of the main Roman family we saw in that, and was one of the families to get rescued by Tennant's Doctor at the end. So, the fact that he had mentioned at the beginning of Series 8 that the face looked familiar but he couldn't place where, is a reference to that, and it's going to be addressed sometime this season, but we don't know where. The hunt for Gallifrey will be addressed, or at least touched upon, and we suspect that's going to actually happen within the first couple of episodes.
I'm hoping it's touched upon a little bit more than it was in Series 8.
Yeah, we're really hoping, because we spent all of Series 8 going, when are you going to deal with the hunt for Gallifrey? And then it shows up in the finale, and that's it.
It doesn't even dare.
Moffat has stated that the Doctor is having this this big romp through the universe, but he always seems to be running, but we don't know from what. This is kind of a Moffat trope. He's done this before, and he'll do it again. It's also an RTD trope, so I guess you could call it more of a New Who trope. But that's something that's going to possibly rear its head sometime over the course of the series. And finally, Clara is now going to become more of a classic style companion rather than the companion style that we have seen starting in series 6, 7, and 8, where it seems to be they're part-timing it. She's going in whole hog in the TARDIS as a companion. No more of this. Take you on a day trip, take you back to Earth.
Oh, good. I was concerned it was going to be more the idea of she's going to scream a lot, run in high heels, and send the women's movement back a few years.
No, it's more on the TARDIS rather than trying to balance TARDIS life and normal life. Because we've had enough of that with the Ponds. We had enough of that in Series 8. We're over it now.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the way it was, where it's basically all about the adventure.
It was awesome the first time. Okay, the second time, I'm tired of it. Let's move on
Plus,
to the third.
that means no more Danny Pink, please.
Well, Danny Pink was killed in the last episode.
Yes,
We need to
but that
address
doesn't
Pink.
stop Doctor Who.
That didn't stop him from showing up in the Christmas special, because people don't really die in Moffat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm just saying no more because I hate Danny Pink.
They also have
Danny
to address.
Pink was Mickey Smith if he had gone into the military.
They have to address Orson Pink, don't they?
Yeah.
I know the actor does want to return as Orson.
I want to see how they address that, considering the fact that there was no child from the two of them.
Except for the one that he sent back, but like she just automatically renamed him Orson Pink. Well, you're alive, so I get to rename you now.
Although I disliked that episode anyway, because it was a build-up to nothing.
It was a Moffat episode.
Maybe he just wants us all to forget it. There is no
Well,
Orson
then
Pink.
he should have not written that part if he wants us to forget it.
Alright.
Get another plot hole.
So that's what we know. We don't have too much else in the way of rumors right now, because there's not a lot of rumors circulating. We've been looking. What we do have is the two trailers that have been released.
I also checked for leaked episodes. There are none to speak of.
Yeah, unlike last year when we did this, we had 5 episode scripts and two black and white versions of the episodes that we used as a past reference. Apparently, actually, all 5 of the black and white episodes are out there. We only found 2 of them. But, we went into last year's actually knowing more than most people should have.
I'm pretty sure those responsible have been sacked.
Yeah, so am I.
I think they're going to bring Adric back.
No. No. Although I was joking, I'm like, I would like to eventually have a con where we can have Matthew Waterhouse and Wesley Crusher's actor, can't remember his name.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. Okay, in the same room. Thank you. I knew his name.
You're at a geek convention, and Will Wheaton is now pretty much one of the higher level geek gods.
No, here's the thing. I was talking about this earlier today. My brain just stopped on his name for some reason. It does that sometimes. But no, Will Wheaton, Matthew Waterhouse, in the same convention, doing a wine-off.
Maybe they'll invite Jake Lloyd to, participate too.
I think Hayden Christensen did more whining than Jake Lloyd.
We could call it Cheese and Wine with Matt and Will.
I don't know if they do it, but it would be interesting.
Hey, you don't know unless you ask.
Very angry and chaotic in Series 8. He's loosening up a bit in Series 9. You see the moment there where he's rocking out, where he's enjoying himself a lot more than he was in Series 8, because a lot of the big theme of Series 8 was the identity crisis. Who is he? Is he a good man? Is he... And he's figured that out now. And
he's shedding his Malcolm Tucker.
So now he can just go with it and have fun.
That's going to be a t-shirt. I'm the doctor and I save people.
I'm surprised it's not already.
Yeah, I know. I'd buy it. Well, if they can make it my size. I don't know. I have yet to find Doctor Who's t-shirts in Whale. We also have a set of 9 images that were released yesterday by the BBC. I didn't realize it until I did a quick look today, considering we've been here since Thursday. And that is, come on, Microsoft Picture Viewer, come on up. There we go. I'm actually going to see if I can widescreen these.
I can't see, there's a speaker in the way.
Zoom in.
These 9 pictures are taken from footage from the first 2 episodes. So
interesting. Can we call that the Capaldi hand?
yes, he's doing the tuxedo mask pose again. If those of you not familiar, when Capaldi first showed off his outfit for Series 8, he had that same hand gesture. And yeah, the floating cape, and several artists online made many attempts to turn him into Tuxedo Mask with varying degrees of success. It was actually slightly disturbing, and made me really worry about Series 8. Fortunately, my worries were, to the most part, unfounded. Series 8 was a lot better than Series 7, and I'm hoping Series 9 will go even better than that. Alright. The first one up here, you can see side profile of Capaldi in what looks to be smoking jacket time. Kind of, he's getting his 3rd Doctor on there. Here we can see Clara in a outfit that we've seen a lot of outfits during the episode, so I can't remember which one we thought that was from, but now we know it's 1 and 2. Here's Missy looking her badass self. Dr. TARDIS out there. So the big thing we know about 1 and 2 is the Doctor is missing at the beginning of 1 and 2. Probably what we surmised, Missy sends a kind of secret message to Clara, who meets her, and they go off to find out where he's gone. I think, and I believe Bill agrees with me, that the Doctor's probably gone looking for Gallifrey again. BBC has a side project going on, the Dalek Project, I believe.
Mission Dalek.
Mission Dalek, thank you. It is for fan-submitted animation episodes, like short animations or clip bits that they're going to make that basically tell a small minute-and-a-half story on where the Doctor is on these various journeys. The BBC has had the footage, or had various small scenes and footage on their website, and is encouraging people to make the episodes and send them in. There are prizes on both the British national and international levels. We're thinking about doing something, but we don't know what. And of course, we had Geek.Kon in our way first. So here we have Missy looking at Compaq, or so we think.
Is that the device that she had in
it looks like
last episode? Or
it looks like it. However, I'm also remembering the trailer we saw where Missy's looking into a mirror and seeing a red dot, and I'm thinking this might be part of that same scene. So it might have multiple uses. I think this might turn out to be Missy Masters' sonic screwdriver equivalent. A device that has multiple uses. And
I mean, laser screwdriver equivalent. Who uses sonic?
Well, I was never fond of the whole laser screwdriver thing because the Master's tool of choice used to be the tissue compression eliminator.
Yeah, I was gonna say it probably has a TCE setting.
Yeah. What's that?
I miss it. I miss the tissue compression eliminator.
You miss the Master being able to kill people by reducing them to the size of tiny dolls and leaving them as a calling card.
Especially since I just recently watched Deadly Assassin.
Ah, yes. We have not reviewed that episode
Speaking
yet.
of
It
which,
is on our list of things we want.
Rewatching it made me realize there is a massive plot hole when it comes to how the TARDIS is powered versus the with everything with the what was it, the Eye of Harmony being with the Eye of Harmony in the Deadly Assassin is told to be on Gallifrey.
Yes.
And yet the Eye of Harmony is in the TARDIS.
It's okay. They resolved that in Series 7 by adding fuel rods.
Oh yeah.
Wait. So, but no. The thing is, technically, is there multiple Eye of Harmony, or is that a?
Yeah, there's
It's
a
different
lot
writers'
of fan debate.
interpretation of how the TARDIS draws power from
Or
the
maybe
Eye.
it's
There's
two
a lot of
points.
fan debate.
Because here's the issue: if there's only one Eye of Harmony, and that's located on Gallifrey, and Gallifrey is missing, how's the TARDIS running?
Okay.
That's why in New Who the TARDIS had to start filling up at the TARDIS time rift.
The first thing about that is you've got to remember the one big elephant in the room that actually changed the whole Eye of Harmony debate. The thing that nobody ever likes to talk about, the movie. Because one of the key things of the movie was the Eye of Harmony in the cloister room of the TARDIS at the time, which but technically speaking, the movie is mostly considered canonical.
Mm-hmm.
The only things they really avoid is that whole half-human bit that came up.
Yeah, let's pretend he slipped.
There is there's been a lot of fan speculation, Mike, about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate that the Eye of Harmony is actually held in its own pocket dimension.
Yeah.
That is accessible from both Gallifrey and every TARDIS. It has been stated to be the power source of all TARDISes.
Yes, that makes sense. So, actually, interesting way. Maybe this could actually tie into how the Doctor finds Gallifrey, as he uses the Eye, maybe using the Eye of Harmony to maybe trace it into, maybe follow it back to Gallifrey.
Possibly.
Possible.
I've had some various theories on the location of Gallifrey, stemming from the end of that, because I remember at the end of the finale last year, Missy gave the Doctor the coordinates for Gallifrey. They were the original classic coordinates 10-0-11-0, 0 by 02 from Galactic Zero Center.
Oh, right, from Pyramids of Mars.
Actually, from Pyramids of Mars and Full Circle. The thing is, Missy, like the Master, I can't see her giving a blatant lie like that. It's not really the Master's style. The Master loves half-truths.
It's there, but it's not there. It's Schrodinger's planet.
Maybe not. The Doctor has been to other places that have used those coordinates just to a negative value.
Yeah, as in
I'm letting you use your brain, Eric. Come on.
As in reversed? Or as in...
Classic Who.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. Come on. Flex those muscles.
You're making me think at 2 in the freaking 30 morning.
I'm thinking
2 o'clock in the morning. Yep.
Maybe he has post-regenerative amnesia.
That too.
No, that's gonna come next year.
Yeah, I bet. Well, just wait until I get my 4th Doctor costume ready.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
All right, so I'll be nice on you. If you remember, actually, I mentioned it with Full Circle before.
Yeah. I've only seen Full Circle once, though, so
But it also its other State of Decay and Warrior's Gate.
It's part of the
E-Space.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. E-Space and Space.
E-Space, the exospace-time continuum, had those same coordinates, but to a negative value. So it's quite possible, because he also did say it was in another dimension.
Yes, that's true. They never really touched on E-Space since this, and it's technically not a parallel dimension or anything like that. It's just different. It's just a smaller universe, as it were.
Yeah,
So-
and that's kind of why I'm wondering if they'll bring back people like Adric.
Well,
Like the possibility of maybe him surviving his death and coming to seek revenge against the Doctor.
I really don't think so.
I think there was wasn't there a Big Finish book or audio drama where he was rescued, or a book or something where he was at.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm
They
aware
brought
of,
back-
no.
No.
I thought I heard something. Maybe
He was doing audio, but it was, technically speaking, I think they managed to get him and Tom Baker to actually do an audio together. And it was supposed to be kind of post Warriors Gate, pre-Keeper of Kraken, somewhere in there. It took a while for them to convince them because Matthew Waterhouse had some very bitter memories about Tom Baker, but even Tom Baker is kind of saying, yeah, I was a bit of a dick back then.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the big theory that's in my head, and this is still speculation, is that might be the location of Galaxy.
And that would be nice to actually have E-Space make a return.
Yes. It makes sense to me. It seems to be part of what they're hinting at. There seems to be some very similar E-Spacey stuff in there. And if the Doctor was to disappear from the face of the universe, where better than to disappear to?
And if they go to E-Space, that would give another excuse for them to finally cast Juliet Lando as Romana in an episode.
Yes. Good point. Yeah.
Although, it's unknown because in Big Finish, of course, Romana returned from E-Space and became president of Gallifrey.
Yeah. Now,
but she's still linked to it narratively to the point where if they reference one, they're likely to reference the other.
Now, and here's the other problem: how much of the Big Finish stuff is canonical?
Well, a lot more than you'd think.
I know, like the Brigadier's daughter came from a lot of that.
But the pre-Day of the Doctor webisode, Night of the Doctor, canonicized most of the Eighth Doctor's companions from Big Finish. He mentions them all by name.
Yes.
So that puts Big Finish in a lot more canonical light than I would have said prior to 2013.
Yeah. See, that is another person that I've been wanting to see forever, is Romana coming back, one way or the other. It doesn't even have to be Lalo 4. It just somebody regenerate. Heck, that could be who it was. It's what took you so long. That could be Romana.
That would be very messed up. I love it, but it'd be very messed up.
It's just, heck, my first thought was that could have been Susan.
Well, it worked with Missy.
Now, it's worth noting. Moffat has said that he may be lying, but he has said that Maisie Williams is not intended to be a returning character from the Doctor's past.
Rule 1.
Whether or not he's just fanning the flames is kind of up in the air.
That's right. I think the main reason I was ticked off with Missy being the Master was that she was not the Ronnie.
There's other reasons.
She didn't act really like the Ronnie at all, though. I would love to see a Ronnie.
The other problem about the Ronnie is the fact that the Ronnie didn't give a shit.
But see, the thing is, the whole plot at the end seemed more like something the Ronnie would do.
No, it's not. Really? No. The Ronnie's big thing was she was a research scientist.
Yes.
Yeah. She was amoral, but not actually out for conquest.
Well, one would argue about time in the Ronnie, but her thing was she had a planet, she had subjects.
Yeah.
She wasn't out to take over the universe unless it was in pursuit of some massive scientific knowledge, like the equivalent of the unification theory that scientists here have been looking for. Yeah. But and that was the whole thing about time in the Ronnie, is that it was going to basically destroy a good chunk of the universe, but it would give her the knowledge of everything. So she wouldn't really do that kind of thing without the pursuit of knowledge. Whereas the Master has had an obsession with the Doctor forever. Especially, at least since the Anthony Ainley years where he went camp. And so turning the Master into Missy and basically turning her into a Yandari was absolutely brain-breaking at that point. her actual obsession, the fact that she spent most of Series 8 referring to the Doctor as her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And there's also, then I guess there's also the issue with, oh yeah, that's the not the Dimension, the one with Rowan Atkinson.
Well, that was deliberately human.
That's a clearly outside canon.
Yeah, it's just, well, no, I'm just thinking, I think I was just looking at going, oh god, they did that and really didn't, except it just.
But it was the same writer. That is worth remarking.
That is true. Yeah, Moffat took the story from the same story, but actually used it seriously instead of comically.
Oh, that's fine. Moffat's been telling the same story for series and series after series after series. Notice this, Series 5, something's happening in the future that the Doctor's going to die. Series 6, something's going to happen in the future that the Doctor's going to die. Series 7, something's going to happen in the future that the Doctor's going to die.
Yes.
Series 8 was a breath of fresh because there was nothing about the Doctor dying. At least other than the immediate threat.
No, it's because he already died.
Let me show you.
I give Moffat credit on that. Series 8 did not have this upcoming theme that you are going to die.
Well, if it happens in Series 9, hopefully he goes, oh god, not again.
Although he still has to answer what Trenzalore is if the Doctor doesn't die there.
Are we going to have this argument again, Bill?
No, I'm just saying Moffat needs to do something with that.
I was going to say, let's not have already derailed it as a lot more.
Well, we covered most of what I wanted to cover, as far as that, so I'm kind of opening to questions and general comments,
okay.
So, anything you want to know, ask, any opinions on previous episodes or our predictions for upcoming stuff, just feel free to belt it out.
Also, I will admit, I'm watching, I was starting to do my, I have this thing where I like to watch, Keeper of Traken, Logopolis, and Castrovalva in a row. I started on the first episode of Keeper of Traken, as I'm watching, going, wow, I didn't realize how tongue-in-cheek the Fourth Doctor really was most of the time.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. I haven't watched a lot of these episodes since I was probably 17, 18 years old, and it didn't really interest. I had a hard time keeping my attention a lot of times. Now I'm watching again, going, oh gosh, I'm actually laughing at a lot of this stuff.
And a lot of that was Tom Baker himself more than the writers.
Yeah.
If you watch some of the behind-the-scenes footage, especially I think for Talent of Wang Chiang, they show him actually there with the script doing a rehearsal bit. And he's like, so I'm down on the floor, and he actually lies down on the floor for this. And it says here, get up and says, I think it would be funnier if I say this. And, the producers and the writers go, okay, let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it basically kind of became the Tom Baker show in a way, because he was working as script editor unofficially and showrunner unofficially for a good chunk of his run.
Yep.
And then he ran into John Nathan Turner, and that was two rams colliding.
Yeah.
It also helps that in the season before Nathan Turner came around, I'm pretty sure Douglas Adams and Tom Baker pretty much synced up perfectly.
Oh yes, yeah. Douglas Adams and Tom Baker were just like they knew they had the same wit, so they were able to play off each other in writing perfectly.
Here's an interesting theory. How long? I wonder how long it. I wonder if JNT never showed up to direct. I wonder how long it would have been before Tom Baker finally decided he'd had enough. Then
he had asked to quit a few years before that, and they told him no.
Really? Oh.
He was way too popular at the time for the BBC to want him to quit, so they kept begging him to stay on over and over because Tom Baker was the most immensely popular Doctor that was ever done at that point. And arguably still to this day.
Yeah. Rewatch.
I do have something I want to put out there about Series 9, though. I find it interesting the first 2 episodes are supposed to be the first of the group, the first ones featuring Unit. We see Clara in some Unit settings, but we actually don't really see Unit in the trailers. Anybody think there is a reason for that? Some big secret about what they're doing with Unit, or any other reason that they're being kept out in the trailer for that episode?
It's possible. It's possible that Unit doesn't actually factor that big in episode 1 and 2, so it's not like there's too much to see.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, you say that, but then I noticed the picture, like second row, last picture with Clara.
Clara
and,
standing in front of a world map.
Yeah, I'm like, that does look like it's got to be a Unit HQ. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be Shield's HQ.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that Unit's completely uninvolved. I'm saying that they're not going to have a major bit.
And I think one of the other pictures was Colonel Lethbridge Stewart.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
that's actually compact.
By the way, you say it wouldn't be Shield HQ. I'm pretty sure we decided right around the end of Series 3 that Unit and Shield are one and the same.
As far as Russell T. Davies is concerned, Unit and Shield are one and the same. Okay. Yes, look, they gave them their own helicarrier.
Oh no,
they broke said helicarrier.
I still think of like if Shield and Unit met and they didn't realize the other one existed.
I am waiting for the days that they decide to replace Kate Stewart, and the new person that comes out as the head of Unit is acted by Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I was gonna or Carson.
Yes, and I really hope that they don't do that, but it's a funny idea.
It is.
It happens like Kate Stewart disappears or something in a fight with the Silurians, and they have to come up with a deputy guy, and it's Samuel L. Jackson. It's like, all right, I'm in charge. Eye patch and all.
Yeah.
These motherfucking Daleks and my motherfucking TARDIS.
No, like I said, it's a fight with the Silurians, so he could actually say, get these motherfucking stakes off my motherfucking plane. If it was Russell T. Davies, I could really see it.
Yeah.
Moffat less so, because he doesn't have that style of humor.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of pop culture references.
He's not as campy as Russell T. Davies is.
Not that it was a bad campy.
Not that it was bad, but it was a form of camp. Moffat doesn't try to do as much camp, but in some ways it makes it worse, because a little bit of camp in a few of the episodes in Series 7, and they probably would have been a lot better. I'm not including Journey in that list, because Journey was a mistake that really Moffat should have looked at that script and said, take it back and do it again.
Sorry,
yeah.
All the series just keep running together. I can never remember the new stuff. I can never remember what happens. Or which one.
The Journey to the Center of the TARDIS is where they have those...
Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. That's the one.
Nobody can forget Journey, because you can't...
That one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can't unremember that.
No, I thought you were talking about a different episode other than that one.
No.
Consider yourself to be blessed.
You're allowed to skip it.
Your naivete is your only blessing right now. When that title comes up, be very afraid.
It's the long and short. Probably the most hated plot I ever had. It's the plot where it's the time travel plot where something big happens, where everybody dies, and then somebody finds and hits the reset button. It's like it never happened.
Actual reset button.
It never. Yeah.
In addition, the characters in Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, none of the secondary characters have any actual appeal to them. You actually see them. You actually spend most of the time watching them nearly get killed, and then you cheer when they do because you hate them so much.
Yeah.
They're not nice people, and the only one that you're supposed to feel sympathy for is so gullible. You're just like,
they literally, if you don't mind spoilers, they literally our trio of brothers, and two of them get together and decide to bully the younger one, and they manage to convince him that he is a robot.
No, it wasn't even just a bully. It was I think it was to cheat him out of his inheritance.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't like any of these people.
They're all
And the only way they could convince him he was a human was by writing fuel rods into the TARDIS. I'm not going to get over that scene.
In New Who, the TARDIS has two different methods of power. The Eye of Harmony, as we actually see in the same episode, and Rift Energy, which was during Russell T Davies' era, how he was using, how the TARDIS was getting around. Neither one involves fuel rods the size of this that in some random moment will start breaking through walls and impaling people, like rebar.
Yep. I think
Stephen Moffat better stop watching Serenity.
An inanimate carbon rod.
Please, I don't need more. I don't need more Wash flashbacks.
And I would say that even worse, except for this character didn't have Wash's level of sympathy.
Yeah, that's true.
You're dying. Okay, good. Go with that. Go into the light.
But I think the saddest thing is that it also had that. It was also very excruciatingly predictable. It was going to be a reset episode because as soon as the Doctor started talking to Clara about it has like whatever that some deep dark secret thing that I cannot remember for the life of me. That when he started talking about that, I looked at it and go, oh god, they're gonna hit a reset button, aren't you?
Yeah.
And sure, the only real reason I said it gets by very little margin gets just a little bit better is at the season finale when they actually re-reference it and she actually remembers what he talked about. Saved it just a little bit. Not enough for me to still not hate it.
No.
I still hate it.
You don't hate it enough.
Use your
rage.
Give in to your hate.
Yeah. Let the hate
flow. Do it.
Okay, well. Alright, get me a light.
I'm surrounded by Palpatine. It's frightening.
Okay. Hey, I wanted to actually call Stephanie Miller as Palpatine and talk about the Republican Party. So, what can I say? But yes, it's still, yeah.
Any other questions, comments, anything?
I'm sleepy. I'm falling asleep here, guys.
I think Maisie Williams is gonna turn out to be Susan.
I think Peter Capaldi, I think the Doctor and Clara are going to get married. She's going to be his 5th wife, and Maisie Williams is going to be their child. That's why she refers to him as the old man.
I have this...
And you're sleeping on the floor tonight, aren't you?
This is the first time I was able to actually look at Ren's expression when Aaron said one of those things.
I want Clara to go away so we could get back to
amused, were you?
I've had this daydream of a scene that I want to see in Doctor Who, where the current Doctor and his current companion are walking down like a hallway, and coming the other way, they see the same companion with his future, the future incarnation. It's like, it'll be like his zero appearance.
So basically you want a multi-Doctor episode in reverse.
Yes.
Seeing it from the past Doctor's perspective instead of from the current Doctor's perspective.
Well,
right.
RTD pretended to do that once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'd love to see them do that thing in Forrest Gump, where what they did with the digitally inserting someone into old footage, like, and have them take footage from the old classic Who and have.
They actually did that with Clara. when she met the first Doctor and
Yeah,
pointed
they
out
did.
the TARDIS to him?
Yeah. Oh,
That one was new footage, I think, but there was definitely a few other episodes that they just inserted her in.
No, there was some old footage used there too.
Yeah, that was some actual Hartnell footage used there, Bill.
Yeah.
Hartnell footage on Gallifrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
they spliced Hartnell into the Gallifrey scene.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, they composited several.
Yeah.
Several
visuals
different
together.
elements, yes.
I also want to have the Doctor meet Elvis.
It can happen. Anything can happen.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. The Doctor meeting Elvis.
I'm hoping, and we've mentioned this several times during the last season, that one of the biggest problems we had last season is that a lot of the episodes felt like it needed more time. They felt like they needed a second part. This season is a lot of two-parters. A lot more than we've ever seen in one season since the reboot, or the restart, rather.
Well, Moffat...
So I'm hoping that this will be the answer to getting Moffat off his duff and actually getting some proper stories out to us without rushing through them at breakneck speeds and failing to capitalize on good ideas.
Actually, yeah, this episode needed another part. I think we had a lot of that starting in Series 7. The Crimson Core could have used another part just to explain the motives of the bad guy. A lot of other episodes seemed rushed, hurried to a climax. Other episodes I don't think could have been salvaged. I'm not sure the Power of 3 would have been better if they added another episode. Because...
Well, that's 7, not 8.
I am talking Series 7. I said that we've been having that issue since Series 7.
No. I'm talking more seriously.
Yeah, Series 8 could have done with some of it, and Moffat, had decided to go from having the RTD standard 2 to 3 two-parters a series to having none, and I think he's regretting that now and
I would say that actually started with Series 6. That opened with a two-parter and then had no other two-parters, including the first one-part finale that New Who had. And he just kept trying to see how fast he could run through an episode.
And I have a theory
going
on
forward.
why Moffat did that. It takes a lot less time for him to write a one-parter than it does a two-parter. And I've kind of said that...
Not really, because then you need to write a second story.
Not if you're not the one writing it. That, I think, was Moffat's issue, is he's been overloaded. I've said it repeatedly on the podcast. I think he really has bit off more than he could chew between this and Sherlock and anything else he's up to, and he really needs to decide to stick with one show and run with it. And frankly, Stephen, I really think you should move on to Sherlock and let someone else take the reins.
Well, Joss Whedon, I think, is in between jobs right now.
I have said that would be the most awesome series of Doctor Who ever.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it means that we will see the lead companion die.
Well, if it's Clara, I have no complaints here.
It would be absolutely amazing. I actually had said that series ago. I think I mentioned that in the first season of Unearthly podcast, didn't I?
Might have been.
Somewhere in there I mentioned if Joss Whedon wrote Doctor Who, it would be simply amazing. I'm not sure if it ever could happen, of course, because of Doctor Who being so inherently British. I don't think they would let an American be the showrunner. Not yet, anyway. It took them a while before they'd let them.
Of course, if Joss Whedon was the showrunner, then we can pretty much assume that Tony Head would be the 13th Doctor.
Or the Master.
Or the Master.
I still think that Tony Head would have made a brilliant Master, but... And a brilliant Doctor. He's a good actor. So, anything else? Any other questions?
Something I've always wondered is, forgive my ignorance, what is supposed to be the difference between UNIT and Torchwood?
UNIT is much more of a actual military-based group, whereas Torchwood was its own private secret organization.
Unit is also international, although we generally see the British arm of it, whereas Torchwood was founded by the Queen of England and answers directly to the Crown.
Yes, Unit is based. Its main headquarters is in Geneva, according to Dr. Lore. So.
Well, that's why it's called
Unit is like an internationally run shield, whereas Torchwood is more like a small-scale Men in Black.
Yeah, it's no longer called United Nations Intelligence Task Force, because United Nations asked them not to call it that.
Oh.
So now they're called the United Intelligence Task Force.
Although one thing I'm glad they're doing the Norse stuff, because I was getting very tired of them always being in Britain somewhere or the
Doctor
U.S.
Who has done Norse stuff before.
Well, no,
I'm showing Curse of Fenric in viewing rooms tomorrow, and that dealt with.
Nice.
Oh no, I meant in the new Who.
Yeah,
But because it's like that's the other thing too. It's either there seems to be only two settings: alien planet or Britain.
There was Greece.
Hey, sometimes they go to America, which is sometimes actually Spain.
And sometimes America. I mean, I'm like, dear God, once can we have someplace else? Maybe Russia, India, Japan.
Personally, I would like to see Doctor Who take a couple of hints from the novels and have the Doctor take on a couple of the old ones.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Yeah, I know. Hey, yeah, I still want to see Sutek come back at some point. Especially after listening to the audio dramas there.
Feel the might of Sutek.
Yes. Well, hey, yeah.
Yeah, let's mess with some Egyptian gods. Let's piss off some Norse gods.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to Asia for a bit, piss off a few Asian gods?
Yeah.
Let's see any.
I would love to see something like that.
Yeah. Go down to South America, piss off a few South American gods, and then for the series finale, let's piss off the old ones.
And the Cartmel master plan comes full circle.
Well, yeah. And then, and then maybe we can actually have the black and white Guardians show up again. Where the hell were they? Where the hell have they been?
There was a theory that Missy was going to be the Black Guardian.
That was a running theory last series, but that didn't go anywhere. Turned out to be the master, and actually, I'm still happy about that.
Yeah. I'm not saying I was that part. Not saying it was a bad thing, but yeah, black and white Guardians. I mean,
The White Guardian left, but he kind of already pre-predicted that the Black Guardian would come back eventually. It's not like a permanent riddance.
The Guardians would be nice to see again. The Ronnie, of course, which we've mentioned a few times.
The Ronnie has been coming up more and more in third-party print. I can't believe that there is not some discussion going around in the Doctor Who writing pool, whatever, about doing a Ronnie-centric episode.
Yeah, I mean, we got previous companions come back, and we have other previous companions come back too. I still personally love to have Tegan come back at some point.
She might be more willing to now, because she has actually started. She's done stuff for Big Finish for a few years now.
Actually, minus Adric, or Perry, any of the Fifth Doctor companions.
We could go full circle. Tegan could be the aunt driving her niece or nephew to Heathrow, then gets picked up by the Doctor. As long as she doesn't go out the same way as her own.
I don't know. I would actually love to see that. Because you mentioned that the scene pops wholly into my brain.
I do too.
You see Tegan with her driving her.
She doesn't need to be killed by Missy, though.
No, she doesn't need to be. But picking up a hitchhiking Missy.
Ah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That would just be, and it'd just be this moment of Missy looking and kind of double blinking.
And then speaking of old.
Oh no! You see, now you mentioned hitchhikers, and I'm thinking of that terrible scene in Silver Nemesis. All of a sudden.
Oh God!
that scene.
Oh, yeah, we reviewed that one just a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was horrible Texan accent.
Yes.
So, any other questions
comments what I want to talk to but I'm tired.
And we all could take some naps.
Yes, we would all, I think, like to hit the hay. I have to be at the viewing desk in 3.5 hours.
Yes.
And you have to be in a panel in 9 hours. Or not, by 9 a.m.
Yeah, that would be 6.5 hours.
Yep, 6.5 hours.
So you get to sleep when you're dead.
I get to get an hour or two power nap.
And then we
caffeinate myself into action.
And then we move out of the hotel room by noon.
Fortunately, I hear the staff lounge has about 6 cases of Mountain Dew left. I think I'm just gonna grab a case and go down to the viewing desk.
What, the staff lounge?
Yeah.
The only thing up there was Dr. Pepper or Dr.
Did you check
360.
the room right next to it?
Could be.
That's where they're
Yeah,
storing most of the food.
the little bedroom right next to it is where they're storing most of the soda.
Okay.
All right, so if you want to watch more of an Unearthly podcast, we do this pretty much every week. We take a week off between our seasons to rest up and make some fundamental changes. You can watch us on www.twitch.tv/unearthlypodcast. We podcast usually Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Central, give or take a few minutes. You can also find links to previous Unearthly podcasts at unearthlypodcast.insomniac.co.uk, at http www.mixcloud.com/n_unearthly_podcast. You can find us at facebook.com/unearthlypodcast and at twitter.com/unearthlypod. And if you'd like to support us so that we can actually afford to review some episodes we don't have access to, or Big Finish audios, etc., you can support us at www.patreon.com/unearthlypodcast. We will be, actually I'm hoping this will come up soon. Our next scheduled podcast is this Wednesday, where we are actually taking a sideways trip in the Doctor Who universe, and we'll be reviewing the 1960s Doctor Who movies, starting with Doctor Who and the Daleks, starring Peter Cushing.
Yes.
We've actually already watched this, but we will wait for that discussion to actually talk about it. Until then, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.